Hello everyone, this is Mr. Mostacho. Thinking. What am I thinking about? Well, of course, I'm thinking about social media, as everybody else. My question for today is the character we put on the internet a fake representation of ourselves? Or is it still us? Here we have our experts to present more about the topic. Please welcome Ms. Lady Westing and Mr. Philip Deutsch.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me in your show. As you said, Mr. Mostacho, we'll be talking about the metaphysical personality we build through social media and how we differ from reality.
Indeed, Ms. Westing. Thank you for having me in this show. The topic is really fascinating, and it's my pleasure to be talking about it today. Very well then, let's get right to it. Take it away, Ms. Westing.
As we all know, social media is something that we use in our daily lives. It might be a little bit too much to handle. There is so much that we don't know about what is real or what is a lie on the internet.
Yes, of course. We tend to build characters that we might think aren't exactly ourselves. But I would argue that this is not the case. What we put up on the internet is what we want to show to the world and what we are comfortable with, which is still yourself, the one living these experiences and showing them to the world.
As well structured as it sounds, not everyone uses social media this way. They might show you what they want you to see, or just put on a total different persona. You never know if someone is being dishonest with what they're publishing.
Very well. But what do you mean being dishonest?
When it comes to lying, it is pretty easy because of the anonymity the internet provides. People tend to be untruthful about themselves in order to hide their insecurities, even to the extent of impersonating other people or to show a fake personality, in which they are showing someone who is not really them.
Okay. Well, it is true that they might, as you say, lie about themselves. Wouldn't that be part of their identity? These lies have to come from somewhere, like from their uncertainty of themselves and how other people perceive them. And wouldn't this uncertainty be part of one's identity and show one's way of acting and thinking?
I see what you mean, but you haven't taken into account all the variables of lying about who you are. As you said, there might be a positive outcome from it, but there are cases that might show you the contrary. For example, there are adults who lie about their age, height, maybe even gender to become someone they're not. This has serious implications, especially if a minor gets involved. They could be oblivious of the situation, which leads them to trust them, and doing something they shouldn't have, and could put them in a danger in many ways.
Well, it is true that there is a lot of danger on the internet. But then again, these harmful lies reflect the malicious intentions of the individual and a part of his personality that, as I stated before, may not be done in the public eye. However, anonymously on the internet, it's much easier to act this way. We might show only good characteristics about ourselves to hide what we are uncomfortable with, or share fake characteristics independently of good or bad intentions. But it all comes down to the person and how their real personality and identity guides their online behavior.
I understand your point, Mr. Deutsch. However, I have some evidence that might contradict your point. In the last episode of a game show called Remote Control, the producer conducted a social experiment in which he made the spectators use masks to hide their identity. The purpose of the show was to control someone's life by choosing different scenarios for him, independent of good or bad outcomes. As the show progressed, the majority of people were choosing the bad outcomes. This is where my point stands. These people were influenced by the environment and anonymity, which in turn caused a change in their behavior. They slowly left their morality over the person's life, which came uncharacteristic from them to the normal behavior.
Interesting point, but what do we define as ourselves? Is ourselves what other people think of us? Because if so, does it mean that we aren't being ourselves when we act differently indoors, where people aren't watching? Well, no, we are the same person. It's still part of your personality to be this way in public and be another way indoors. Couldn't this be also applied to social media in real life? Maybe you act differently on social media, but it's still yourself. Wow, that was wow. This really left me thinking. Very fascinating, as you said, Mr. Deutsch. Now, our dear viewers, what did you think about these arguments? Did you guys think the same way as our guests? Or did you perhaps have a different point of view? Let us know in the comments below. Now, this is all for today, folks. Thank you for watching and have a good rest of your day.